Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. And I am so sorry for this late upload, but I just got caught up in a bunch of things. But, nevertheless, you guys don't really care about that. Let's get right into what we're talking about today. We're talking about what you're gonna main in Battle for Azeroth. So, lots of things really play into effect when choosing what you actually want to play. Do you want to go in a specific way to where you rely on what your guild wants from you, or do you want to take a different approach and really take a spin on the next expansion? Do you want to delve into new waters, or do you just simply want to stick to what works best for you? We're going to talk about roles, and we're going to talk about what particular thing really suits you the best, what makes you feel more comfortable, and how that's gonna play into effect going into the next expansion. So with class progression, with the recent updates and refinements to the classes themselves, it's a lot handicapped. Instead of really selecting two in your skill tree, two things that really affected your character in a very powerful way in Legion expansion, are now in separate tiers, meaning that there could be one particular specialization that is better than the other, and within that specialization you could choose in your talents one or the other. Now you can't. Now it's turned into that. You can't really choose the same thing in the same category. They're split up now, really hindering progression in that class that you really kept an eye out for, and you might be persuaded to choose something else. This really deters lots of people and steers them away from trying out new things or potentially seeking out new roles to play in the next expansion. With the new update, there's really nothing to improve on your main character if you have one now, because since the new class refinements are in play or are going to be in play, it's going to take a toll on how you level up, on how everything feels, and it's just not gonna, it may not be as fun for those who already mastered their particular role, ability, or specific talents that they got used to in Legion expansion. A big question that does play into effect is, what do you have most fun with? Now that does sound very, very vague, but let me hold you there. The roles that you can play, if you would like, in the ranged category are Mage, Priest, Hunter, Druid, Warlock, or Shaman. And that's a very extensive selection that you could, really invest time and be able to main and get good at it. In the melee DPS, you could be a warrior, a shaman, a death knight, or a paladin. If you want to be, or rogue, monk, demon hunter. If you want to be a tank and really focus on taking all the damage and having your teammates really focus the firepower while you take everything. You're in the fight. You're always there. You're a reliable person. You could be a warrior, a death knight, a paladin, a monk, or a demon hunter. If you want to be, you want to play it safe, have everyone always alive, stable, and have a nice heal over time, you could be a priest, a shaman, a paladin, a druid, or a monk. Or if you want to, you want to be a little back, but also be able to deal amazing damage, you could be a warlock, hunter, or mage. That really narrows down a specific type of role that you may want to select, or you may want to like have a connection with, instead of just spamming away buttons and not really paying attention to the actual expansion and the way you're going to be playing the particular class that you're going to select going into Battle for Azeroth. If you want to go a hybrid ranged DPS, you could be a shaman, a priest, or a druid. As the selections go down and I list them even further, they really end up narrowing down, and you get a more of a easier way of selecting what you would like to main in Battle for Azeroth. And another question that is also brought up is, what do you want in your class? Do you want a simple reward. You want simple class movesets that are easily spammable. You could you know, not really invest your time that much into it, rather just get used to what you already know and have very little reward. Do you want to be mobile and versatile and be able to fill in those spots that potentially other people are unable to, or are just not as good as you are at filling, you know, those particular spots, whether it be a tank, a healer, or a damage output person? You know, this could heavily rely on what either you want as a player, or if you're in a very social guild that likes to formulate and schedule raids / dungeons, or maybe you just simply want to go questing, even though that's pretty weird, but you know what I mean. You could always focus on what, you know, your guild would want out of you. Do they want you to main a healer? Do they want you to be a tank? Or do they simply want you to stick to what you're best at, which, whatever the case may be, is, you know, what you're going to stick to. You know, you have to also play into effect how war mode is going to play in your class. Are you gonna simply activate it to benefit off of the increased 10% XP bonus? Are you gonna use it effectively in world PvP? Or are you gonna take the risk, you know, enable it but not enter in PvP? But the downside to that is you could potentially get killed by a enemy team, or you could get ganked, you could get completely wiped all the time, which also hinders your progression and your overall fun / wow factor when playing this expansion. All of these things play into effect when it comes to what you want to main in BFA. You know, some big things that also play into it are, what is your style? Do you like the pure appearance? Do you want to be a rugged player? Do you want to be a nice, pristine, great overall player that likes to have a have crazy appearances when it comes to questing, when it comes to PvPing, or anything in those regards? Do you want to really have that wow factor? Also, your class perks. You have to research what you currently have. Is it gonna suck if you don't have it? If you switch it up in the next expansion, you have to take into account that you may not have those class perks anymore due to you switching up your class / probably your race if you're at that too. Some things, you know, really helped you in Legion that no longer are going to apply to you in BFA due to you switching up your class and getting new perks as a result of that. But the last part I want to leave up to you guys, and the one that's, you know, most important, is what's the most fun playstyle for you. Now that sounds extremely vague again, but it really comes down to that. Do you want to try something new and, you know, step into uncharted territory, you know, and really make your mark knowing that you tried something new? This is a good way of investing your time and really, you know, making that new experience feel like your first taste of WoW again. Or do you want to stick with what you're good at? Do you want to feel comfortable, feel safe, you know, and go into BFA knowing that you're going to succeed, you're going to level up fast, and you're really going to get invested into this because you know how to use your character and your class. You don't have to focus on researching what to, you know, build, what to really focus on, and what role, you know, you want to fill. Instead, you could just opt to really focus on the game and immersion aspect of it. We're returning back to the war, Alliance versus Horde in BFA, back to its roots of World of Warcraft. This is amazing, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, and you know, this could possibly also help you and steer you into a direction of selecting what class you want to main in BFA. I thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for more. Have a wonderful day.
Brother was caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the crossfire.